Hello everybody. It's been quite a while. I was in Sweden for the last 3 months, but I'm back. And when I came back, I noticed, amongst other things, that there were some laptops on my workspace. Um, Apparently, there was a community member who reached out to my mother because she knew that I was into repairing and restoring tech. And she offered to um, give me some laptops. She actually gave me two, and there are apparently others that she's going to give me. So those videos will be coming out at some point. But I wanted to start off with this. This was not actually given by the woman. This is actually my sister's old laptop. It's a MacBook. I've never done anything with Mac before. The only Apple device I've ever owned um, was I did own the iPod series, the first gen, I think up to the fifth gen. I know I have the fifth gen, and I know I used the first gen, but I'm not sure if I had any of the gens in between. All this is to say that I have very little experience with Apple products and iOS in general. So, yeah, but the actual physical hardware I can certainly make pretty again, even if I don't really know about any of the software side of things, but I guess it's a learning experience. As for this laptop, it's not exactly in the greatest condition. There's a huge amount of these very deep scratches. Actually, I don't know if they're that deep, but they're certainly noticeable. I can feel them, and they're dirty. So I'm going to go over it with some isopropyl alcohol. Maybe even buy a magic eraser, might help. On this side, there's a DVD player, which, if it would focus, why won't it focus? There we go. And as you can see, it's kind of dusty and a bit dirty. So I will not be testing that until I clean out the internals. I'm going to start just by cleaning out the exterior, plugging it in, and seeing if it even works before digging deeper. On this side, there is wait, let me just move it like this and then tilt it upwards. So there's the MagSafe, I think is what it's called, connector, and I need to clean that out. An Ethernet port of, I don't know, unknown speeds. It's probably going to be 10/100, but who knows, maybe it's a gigabit. I don't know. I don't even know what this port is. I have an adapter that looks like it connects from there to a VGA port, but it doesn't seem to go in very well, so it might just be dusty or dirty or something, which is entirely possible, because it's the only thing I have in my possession that even vaguely looks like it connects to it. There's the FireWire and two USBs, the microphone, headphone, and I'm assuming that's a Kensington lock. And then on the front, I think this is just an IR receiver and probably a hard drive LED indicator or something. On the bottom, there is, if I could flip it over, I don't know what this is about, but it's duct taped down. I'm assuming, since there's flex here, that this is some sort of service hatch for something, perhaps the battery? I'm not sure, because I don't see a battery anywhere else, so I'm assuming this is the battery, and this is just how it's being held in. I don't know if that's because a screw is missing or some sort of damage, so I'll certainly find a more elegant solution than this. If nothing else, I want to replace the peeling off duct tape. And just looking at this thing, what's amazing to me is that you can actually get into the thing. I guess this is back when Apple decided that you can service your own electronics. Not only do we have standard Phillips screws, there don't appear to be hidden ones underneath the feet, although I could be very wrong about that. But it looks like there's a missing foot here, and maybe that's a screw hole. The one right here. So maybe there are screws underneath the feet. I'll find out. But yeah, that's it for the bottom side. And then flipping it around again and looking inside. Oops. It doesn't look too bad. There are just some bluing or something on these keys. I don't know what that's about, but yeah, just some repair that needs some cosmetic repair. And that doesn't even feel like it's actuating, so I might need to clean that. And or maybe it doesn't even work anymore. Might need to replace it. I don't even know if this thing works, but I guess we'll find out. And the screen needs to be de-dusted. But yeah, that's it for this. When I make the jump cut, presumably it'll look a lot better because I will have cleaned up all the cosmetics, and then I'll be digging deeper into the laptop. First, I'm going to connect it to a charger and see if it even powers on, so I can know what I'm dealing with on the inside. And I'm assuming that it uses a hard disk, so yeah, I'm not even sure if that disk even works anymore. Who knows? We'll find out. And who knows? Maybe it even has upgradable RAM. I mean, this is the older style of Apple products, back when you could maybe even upgrade things yourself and it wasn't all soldered down to the motherboard. What a time. Anyways, I'll see you in the next jump cut. So, yeah, so I opened up the battery bay for this thing and I popped out the RAM. It actually has a cute little mechanism where you pull on these little tabs and it pops out the RAM. Kind of cute, but yeah, so I tried to plug this thing in and I wasn't able to, it wasn't turning on. So I undid some screws and popped out the battery. And this is what I found in terms of the RAM. Look at that. That might explain why it's not turning on. I don't know whether that's corrosion or whether it's just dirt or something else. All I know is it's filthy, and that would explain probably part of why it's not turning on. Luckily, it doesn't seem too hard to get rid of. I took some isopropyl alcohol on, not this stick, but this one. I took some isopropyl alcohol and I ran it around the edge connector and I think those are supposed to be little capacitors or something. And yeah, it's cleaning up quite nicely. I might also have to use some deoxit on the connectors. We'll see. I don't know how bad it is in terms of the of that white stuff. It's not just dust or dirt. It's some kind of perhaps corrosion. I'm not sure. I don't know when the last time this thing was used, but I'll let you know when I have another update as I dig deeper. So, time to fix up the RAM. So I went over the RAM with some IPA, and it cleaned up remarkably well. There's still a little bit, sorry for the shaking, I have shaky hands. That only gets worse the more I hold something, so let me just plop that down. Shaky hands does not go well with computer repair, but oh well. Yeah, so as you can see, those capacitors still have a little bit of greenish, whitish, whatever that is, but everything cleaned up quite well. So I'm just going to go over it again with some IPA on those capacitors and then see how it all works out. If that doesn't seem to help it any, I might try some deoxit or something like that. Yeah, we'll see. I think the next update will be when I'm deeper in the system because I don't want to linger on the RAM too much. I think that it's probably good enough as is. If it doesn't boot up correctly, then I'm just going to assume it's the RAM. Luckily, the RAM is quite easy to get to. As I said, you just pull on these little tabs and it just pops the RAM out. So yeah, and the batteries just pop out the battery and then pop out the RAM. Very simple. The nice thing about Apple products from this generation is that not everything was soldered down to the motherboard. So yeah, we'll see. I think the storage might actually be changeable, which was it's like, wow, revolutionary. Anyways, I'll let you know once I get into the system a bit further. So I finally got in, and yeah, it's a little bit dusty on the inside. Quite dusty indeed. This is going to take quite a bit of scrubbing. And yeah. And looking at the hard drive, it is a what is it? It's a 120 gigabyte hard drive, so not too bad at all, especially for an older system like this. The 2 gigs of RAM seems much more of a problem, but I don't know what kind of Mac OS this thing is running. I don't know really anything about Mac OS. I am very much a Windows person, so I have no idea whether 2 gigs is okay for this, but just thinking back to older Windows machines, I suppose it's fine. It just depends on the time period. So, yeah. I guess in terms of upgrading this thing, if I wanted to upgrade it, it would just have to be a Mac OS version that was able to run with 2 gigs of RAM. I don't know. I'll have to look into it. But at the very least, I can make it not as disgusting inside. So, yeah, and maybe also get it to turn on, which might not be too hard considering that the first thing I can do is just remove all of this immense amounts of dust and grime. If I can get that fixed, it'll probably do wonders. But yeah, we'll see. Time to use some more of my, how much was this that I got? It was 946 milliliters of isopropyl alcohol. And by the end, I might have used at least 100 mils. Yep. Also, I just realized why it's such a strange amount. 946 milliliters. Why not a liter? I mean, it's because it's 32 fluid ounces. But why 32 fluid ounces? Man, I don't understand. Imperial units are so strange. I wish we used metric, but whatever. Anyways, yeah, so it's time to get cleaning and make this thing shine again. Well, wish me luck. So, quick update. Basically I cleaned the whole thing out and I booted it up and it just worked. And fortunately for me, it bypassed the lock security screen for some reason, and so my sister and I looked around on it and looked at some of her projects, and we were saving stuff to an external drive before I wipe it. Unfortunately, it then suddenly died because we didn't have the battery in there because the battery was really old and had no charge. So when the cable was moved a little bit, it was kind of finicky, and when the cable moved, the thing shut down. When it booted back up, there required a password, and my sister has no idea what the password is. So because the hard drive is just a standard SATA interface, I'm going to connect it to a PC and see if I can extract what I want off of it, or what my sister wants off of it. And at that point, I'm going to, once she gets everything off, I'm going to wipe it and possibly see if I can put Linux on it. I don't know if I can because it's an Apple product, but we'll see. Or possibly even Windows. With only 2 gigs of RAM, any Windows worth having is not really going to work. I suppose the RAM might be able to be upgraded, though. We'll see. But, yeah. How nice. Um, I don't know if I can though because it's an Apple product, but we'll see. Amazingly, I actually managed to fit the battery in and I charged it up, and the battery actually seems to be still holding a charge. So, yeah, really, if the OS can be recovered, um, and anything even vaguely modern put on it, this thing might even be salvageable. If not, well, maybe I'll harvest its organs. We'll see.